Okay then, in this video we'll talk about conditional statements. So let's start with the first one, which is if statement. So the formula for the if statement looks like this. So you have if keyword and then it's followed by condition and then you have statements. So if the condition gets evaluated to true, then these statements will be executed. If the condition gets evaluated to false, the statements will not be executed. Your Python code will not stop. So if you have some more codes in here following if scope, then those other codes will be executed. So let's take a look at one of the at a very simple example relating to if statement. So let's create two variables, and so they will be numbers. So x will be equal to 20 and y equals to 10. So now what I'm gonna do is I will say if x is greater than y, that's my condition. I will say print, and I will say x is greater than y. As you can see in here, I am using previously discussed operators, right? Or comparison operators. So in here, this one gets evaluated to true because 20 is greater than 10. That's why if I run this code, my print statement will be executed. Sorry, let me comment out the first two lines. So now it says x is greater than y. So, but if I say this one, x equals to y, this will get evaluated to false. That's why my statement, this one, will not get executed. Let me show that to you. You see, it's not getting executed. But if I make both of them 10, then so in here I should change. I'll say x and y are equal, or x equals to y. So that's all about if. So now let's discuss the second part of this if statement, which is elif. So elif means if the previous conditions were not true, try this condition. So for instance, in here, I am saying if x equals to y, then print this. What if x is greater than y? Then I can use elif condition. So I'll say elif. So then my condition will be x greater than y. And don't forget this comma because it specifies the scope of the elif. So now what I'm gonna do is print x is greater than y. So now if I say this one 20, so my code will come to this one first, and then it will check whether x and y are equal. They are not. So then it goes to this elif part, and in the elif part it checks whether x is greater than y, which is correct, and then this will be executed. Okay, so let me show that to you. So now it says x is greater than y. So that's how you use elif. So now we also have the last bit relating to these conditionals, so which is else. So else catches everything which is not caught by the preceding conditions. So for instance, I can say in here else, and then I don't need condition because if everything else in here fails or everything gets evaluated to false, then try this. Okay, so I'll say print, and my last option would be y is greater than x. Because, you know, x and y can be equal, or x can be greater than y, or y can be greater than x. So there is no fourth option. right? So now if I say y is 30, the first one and the second one will be false, and it will automatically go to else part, and in the else part this print statement will be executed. So let me show that to you. You see, y is greater than x. So that's how you use else. So you can also, regarding these conditions, you can use other, logical operators, like for instance and, or. So for instance, you can say, let me give you another example. So I'll say if x is greater than y, and so let me create another variable, call it c, and then I'm gonna say this one equals to 30, and let's make all of them 30, and I will say if x equals to y and y equals to c or z, doesn't matter, you can say z, let's say z, so I'll say z. So if x equals to y and y equals to z, then I can say print x, y, and z are equal. So in here, both conditions should get evaluated to true. Only then my print statement will be executed. Okay, so let me show that to you. So in this case, x, y, and z are equal. So if I say 25, this statement will not get executed because one of them is not true. So you see, nothing is getting executed. So that's how you use and. You can also use or, and you can also have nested if statements. So let me show that to you. So for instance, if I say if x is greater than, for instance, 10, that would be my first condition. I will say print x is greater than 10. That's my first condition. So I can use another if statement inside this if block. So please pay attention to this column. So you have these, and now I have another nested if. So I'm saying if x is greater than 20, then I will say print x is even greater than 20. So the first one is it checks whether x is greater than 10. If so, the Python will execute this code. And then it goes to the next condition, which is this one, x is greater than 20. If so, it will execute this code. We can also use in here elif or else. I can say else. So I'll say else print but not greater than 20. So now what my code does is it first checks this, and then it goes to this. If it fails, it goes automatically to else. So if I say x equals to 20, then what happens is it will execute this one, and then it checks this one, and it's gonna return false. That's why it will automatically come to else part, and then it will say but not greater than 20. So let me show that to you. So in here it says x is greater than 10 but not greater than 20. So it's in between 10 and 20. Okay. So that's how we use nested if statements. So you can also, there is one more thing I would like to discuss. So if you would like to create an empty if statement, let's say like this. So if you leave everything in here empty or blank, Python will throw an error, because after if statement you need to have something. You need to have at least one statement. If you don't have anything, you should write a keyword called pass, and that means your code will be empty. I mean, after if statement you don't have anything, and in here in this block we are not doing anything. So So for instance, if I run my code, nothing will happen, you see. So that's all regarding this video, and in the next video we'll continue our discussion on if statements.